So either two things are gonna happen with this video, and it's very short, maybe like 5 minutes, but I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for it, or people are gonna be confused, or people are actually gonna love me because of it. Now, or I might get sued. You never really know. Now, here's what I really want to talk about, right? I read the book, Robert Kiyosaki Cash Flow, and the more I read it, the more I understood what I was doing, right? What I'm doing right now, this is not really a business, right? It's kind of like being self-employed, and the more I work, the more I earn, and the more my efforts kind of guarantee me things, right? That's how it works. But a lot of people on YouTube are kind of promising you all these self-employed jobs and employee jobs that they're just that. They're not businesses, and they kind of promoting it out there as if it was a business, right? Now, I won't say any names for the fact that I just don't want to say any names, but I'll tell you who's not doing it, right? Stefan isn't doing it. Kevin isn't doing it. Grant Cardone isn't doing it. But there are a lot of people out there, and you know who I'm talking about, that every single time you put on a video, you hear this ad, right? Drop shipping is the future. It is not dead. It's great. So, media influencers, they sell products for $20 when they bought it for $40, like whatever it is, right? You hear all these ads all the time, right? And I personally have taken about 2 to 3 courses of this stuff, and guess what? It actually works, okay? And it works very well. It works amazingly. But a lot of people out there are telling me, Tommy, this is the business. This is my business. And in reality, it's not really just being a business, but it's kind of like more being self-employed. And that's the difference, okay? And I wanna explain this very, very carefully, right? Before people start hating on me and stuff like that, right? Here's the deal. That's not really being an entrepreneur and kind of being a business person, because in reality, you're not really being a business owner. And the reason is because, one, you don't have any employees, and even if you had one employee, it wouldn't really matter, right? Now, here's the thing. I want to talk about 3 things: time, scalability, and also taxes, right? Because these are the 3 things that are the most important, okay? So whenever you're starting a business, you're probably always looking at these 3 things, right? You're trying to scale it up, you're trying to pay no taxes, and you're also trying to make sure that you have more time to spend with your family. Whenever you get successful in one of these businesses, for example, the dropshipping business, the influencer business, like whatever you're doing, the more successful you get, usually the less time you have, right? But when you're here on this business side, right, the more successful you get, the more time you have, right? And that's how it works. Now, a lot of people don't really know that, but here's how it actually works, right? Now, here's the deal. Say, for example, you're an Uber, and let me take a quick story before I even start, right? Well, I know this guy, right? He's my aunt's husband or whatever he is now. I'm not sure, right? And I'm talking to him, and I'm like, hey, I haven't talked to you in a long time. How have you been? Where are you working now? Are you still being like doing this and doing that? I won't say so many details because I don't want to get like exposed. And then he tells me, yeah, Tommy, I started my own business. Instantly, I got a little happy, and I'm like, oh wow, that's great, that's awesome. You started your own business. Like, what is it about? What do you sell? How many employees do you have? Like, how does it work? What's your plan? What's your scalability? How many taxes are you paying? He's like, you know what? Those are all great questions, but yeah, I'm just driving for Uber. And I'm like, wait, so how do you consider that a business? He tells me, well, Tommy, it's a business because I can work whenever I want to, and I don't have to worry about what anybody tells me, right? And I'm like, okay, that's great. And I really didn't want to say anything to kind of burst his bubble, but I kind of told him, like, hey, that's great. And that's awesome, but in reality, it might not really be a business. Now, here's why that's not a business. Here's why Uber is not a business, which you guys already know, right? But here's why being like one of those people that has one of those courses, something like that, isn't really a business either. The reason is because it's not really a business, right? Now, here's the main difference, right? When it comes to taxes, if you're self-employed, you have to pay around 15.6% when it comes to taxes to Medicaid and also Social Security. I think Medicaid is 2.9%, and I think Social Security is like around another like 12.5%, right? It's a lot of money that you have to pay over there. On top of that, you have to pay a percentage of your earnings. Now, that's not the only reason I say it's not a really good sustainable business. The reason is because actually the more successful you get, right, you have to pay more taxes. And on top of that, you have less time for yourself and for your business and for your kids and for your, well, you have more time for the business, obviously, but you have less time for your children or for whatever you want to actually spend the time on, right? For example, if I am an Uber driver, right, and I'm using this example because it's very simple and very easy to follow. If I'm an Uber driver, the more successful I become, it means that I'm working longer hours, I'm traveling with more people, and I'm making more money, but I have less time at home, right? On top of that, when my taxes come in, my tax returns, I'm going to pay a lot more taxes. Now, no way you can actually scale that business up because it's kind of just dependent on you. Same thing with the dropshipping thing, right? You can scale it up, you can make 10 of them, but now you have less time, more taxes you have to pay, and you can't really scale it up beyond you unless you can actually convert it into a real business. Now, how this works is like this, right? I want to make sure you guys understand it because it's very simple and simple video, very short video also, right? The way you can scale it up is by saying, well, how do I make this business be able to run better without me, all right? And that's the entire thing you should actually be looking at. Now, I do recommend whenever you're starting a business, you make sure that you yourself can actually do everything those things you're actually offering for people to do. What I mean by this is, for example, if you want to be an Uber driver, drive Ubers, right? And then figure out how you can make your own thing by how it actually works, right? Same thing with like drop shipping, right? You actually start your own drop shipping store, you do the advertising, you do every single thing out there. So when the time comes, you're like, oh yeah, that's how it works. You're training the people, that's how it works. Yeah, you're not gonna scam me because this is how it works. I already did the work. I already know everything, right? So that's a great like opportunity to actually like learn it, so you can actually scale it up and stuff like that, okay? So for example, right, for every single person out there that's making a course on being an entrepreneur and starting like a dropshipping business or e-commerce, like Ty Lopez says, I say Ty Lopez's name because he's very like cool and stuff like that. I won't say Alex Becker's name and a whole bunch of people like no bullshit, no BS dropshipping. Well, these are all people. I said I wasn't gonna say any name, but these are all people that do that stuff, right? And it's fine. They do awesome jobs teaching those courses, but I want to make sure you guys understand that's not really a real business, right? The only way you can actually scale that up is by saying this, right? And there's a very easy way to do that. And I'll make a separate video later on, right? But here's the deal. You can hire people from Upwork, right? And the people from Upwork will be running every single store and doing every single operation within it, right? The only thing you have to do is kind of check in and make sure everything is running fluently, right? When this happens, what it means is, well, I have more success because I have more people hired. I'm paying these people, which is great. That's awesome. You have to pay people. It's not slavery. You pay all these people. They run all these businesses. They do every single thing they need to do. And you make more money, but the more money you make, the more free time you have, right? Well, on this side, you have people that are just working by themselves and doing the work themselves and might have like maybe 1 or 2 people that actually work with them, but they're still there present, right? And if they're not there, then they don't make any money, or if they're not there, then it doesn't work as well as it should, right? And when it comes to making a business should work better when you're not there present, right? For example, right? Another example is McDonald's, right? If I started McDonald's and I'm the manager, right? How am I gonna say that? Well, I have a business. I'm the manager here. It's not really how it works. That's basically how it is, you know. But if I say, well, I own a McDonald's franchise, you know, every system is taking place, every system is secured. I don't really need to be present there for everything to be happening, right? Because it works well with or without me, because everything happens smoothly because there's a system in place. And that's the main difference, guys. I want to make a short video on this entire topic to make sure you guys understand what I'm talking about. So if you learned anything about this video, it's basically this, right? There's 3 things you should actually be looking at whenever you're considering opening up a business or starting like an entire self-employed thing. So you can actually know the difference, right? It's taxes, time, and also scalability. If the taxes are too high, right? Because you guys know, right? When you're an investor and you have your business, you pay taxes on like, well, you know, revenue, and you pay taxes on capital gains, blah, blah, blah. But that's pretty low. That's maybe 15%. It's not a really big deal, right? You pay your taxes, you pay your dues. And in some cases, when you do real estate, you can also defer the taxes indefinitely forever in a legal way, okay? It's called a 1031 exchange. I won't really go into detail on that because I'll do more videos later, okay? And when it comes to time, if the business you're going to start requires more and more of your time, the more successful you get, the more you scale it up, then that's not really a business. Just call you being self-employed and just having like a little business on the side, but it requires you so much. That's not really a real business system in place, right? And then when it comes to scalability, if you can't scale it up to a point where you have 100 people, 500 people working for you, and you don't even have to be there to be present because you have an entire machine running, then that's not really a real business. Now, the difference is very clear to actually see, right? For example, right, I have an uncle, right, and he works in, he has an entire business, but his business is very big, right? It's over $10 million. But here's the deal. If he does not present at the business for more than 10 days, the business goes to ish because he needs to be present to see how every operation runs. But in this case, right, if he had a CEO that was in charge of the entire business and looked at all the operations, then that would be a real business because it wouldn't really need him there to actually be operating properly and securely. And that's what I'm actually trying to make sure you guys understand, right? And one last example before I leave, because I want to make sure you guys understand exactly what I'm saying. Say, for example, me, Tommy, right? I have a business. I have 2 businesses. Well, I have 3 businesses, right? And I run all these businesses, but they all require me, right? So that's kind of being like self-employed and having like a small business owner, right? But for example, right, if I don't come here on YouTube every single day and actually create content, then I won't get any more subscribers, I won't get any more views, because that's how it works, right? But say, for example, the guy who created BuzzFeed, right? He has a whole bunch of creators that are part of his platform that are there to produce more content and more content. And even if he's there, if he's not there, they're still going to make money because he has a system in place. And every single day, people are going to show up to work and actually handle everything. And that's the main difference. So make sure you guys understand this, right? Before you start any business, ask yourself these questions. Am I going to pay a lot of taxes? Am I going to have free time the more successful I get? Can I scale it up to a point where it doesn't need me because it has a system in place? So if you ask yourself all these questions and the answer is yes, 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 then you're starting a big business that can be scaled up. If the answer is no, yes, no, or no, yes, yes, or no, if there's a no in there, then it's not what you think it is. And I want to make sure you guys understand that, because there's a lot of people out there, they're selling you all these courses, like Ty Lopez, $500 for this course, no drop shipping, like BS, like $500 here, Alex Becker, $500 there, $300 there, and it's all great and it works, but it's all being like self-employed and kind of being an employee, but in this case, you're your boss, and the more successful you get, the less time you have. So just make sure you guys understand that before you actually subscribe to one of these places. Now, like I said before, I'll probably get a lot of hate, or you guys are going to love this information. Guys, my name is TommyBryson. If you don't know me, thanks for watching this video. And make sure you like and subscribe and comment. Comment down below any ideas you guys have for a video or anything like that. And if you want to come to the channel and actually have a discussion with me and actually talk about everything, let me know. We can do a Skype call and you can actually be on the channel and actually talk about everything with me. I'll see you guys next time on the next video. And thanks for watching. Oh, by the way, guys, if you want like an Audible book, right? Because I have a lot of information and it's not because I'm smart. It's because I read a lot of books. If you want like an Audible subscription or you want to start investing, I have a whole bunch of links in the description down below that actually give you free stuff. So you guys can actually start. And that's actually one of the ways you can actually become a business owner, by reading and improving every single day. I'll see you guys next time on the next video, and peace. You've got to start at the bottom.